AI is making some serious waves in technology. Formula Monks is a leading AI consultancy that works with some of the most innovative brands in the world. Chief Marketing Officer for Formula Monks, Ben Lee, is here to tell us more. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Jessica. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. Now, you came all the way from Costa Rica.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I've been living there the last 3.5 years. Ran a really stressful company before the pandemic and had an opportunity to sell. So it took a couple of years off and got healthy and just kind of rebuilt my mind and my body in Costa Rica. And now back in corporate working with AI.
Well, congrats on the new position, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So talk to us about Formula Monks.
Well, I heard you're a Game of Thrones fan.
Yes.
Okay. So when it used to stream every Sunday, who do you think is behind the technology to make sure it doesn't crash?
Well, you don't know.
You don't even think about it.
You're just seeing dragons.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we worked on the HBO app, we've worked on Hulu app, we've worked on the Roku platform, amongst many other projects. We're the team that big brands call when they need to innovate. So whether it's in AI, whether it's in hardware, whether it's in software, we're like the builders. When you want to build a house, you call an architect, structural engineer, a builder, and we build that technology for you.
Wow, so you're really behind all of the magic of what's essentially going on in the show.
Absolutely. Well, we're not involved in the content, but we're involved. We're the nerds who are making sure it doesn't crash.
Right.
And if it does crash, there's a problem. And fortunately, it hasn't.
Right.
And so we have technology teams, designers, developers, product managers, product strategists. Basically a full executive team you can think of that we assemble on these projects. So like Caterpillar, for example, is one of the leading manufacturers of construction equipment and mining equipment. Believe it or not, before coming to us, they didn't have a way of tracking all of their assets or their equipment. So we built a software that was able to track all of that in real time, and that's resulted in over $1 billion in savings for the company.
Wow. Yeah. And so what are you doing in your position?
Yeah.
What are you in charge of and overseeing there?
At the core, my job is to get our story out there.
Yeah.
We work with Walmart. We work with Caterpillar. We work with First American. We work with some of the biggest brands in the world, Lululemon, Nike. And you all know of these brands, but you don't know who's behind the technology in these brands, and specifically some of the rewards app. When you go into the Starbucks app and you're listening to the music app, our team was behind that. So some of the household names that you see every day, you oftentimes don't even create a connection to the team behind those products or those interfaces.
Yes.
So it's getting our message out there, getting in front of the right folks, and trying to simplify it as much as possible, because a lot of what we do is so technical that it gets kind of lost in translation. Like my parents for 13 years still have no idea what I do. They're like, you work with ChatGPT, computers, and you fix the internet.
But if you say the big names, they're like something with Nike, right?
Exactly, that's exactly right. And it's a really cool, gratifying feeling when I get to take them to either a retail experience for a tech brand that we built, or an apparel brand or whatever, and say, oh, that's us.
Right.
We're the team behind that.
Now, where do you see the future of AI going? We had talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I mean, there's some areas already where it's truly going to obliterate a lot of industries. There's also a lot of hype around it. So it's like finding how much hype is there versus how much practical use cases are there to actually replace us humans, et cetera. And I listened to a podcast today about a teacher who he can't really tell the difference between ChatGPT essays anymore. So that it's creating major disruption right now in the education space.
Right.
In certain content areas, for sure. But for the near future, brands still need us building their technology. And believe it or not, we've had more demand with AI because some of the biggest brands in the world, like HP, hire us to teach them how to use AI. Everyone knows how to use it in ChatGPT's context, but how do you integrate it in a morning show? Or how do you integrate it in your side projects? There's also a lot of security concerns and all these things that we don't even consider. So we create what's called Spark camps, Spark boot camps essentially. They're like AI workshops where if you're working on your next big idea and you need to understand, you know, what are the considerations to use AI? How do we use it? How expensive is it going to be?
Well, Ben, we are out of time, and I feel like even off camera, I'm going to be like, keep going, because there's so much more to talk about.
There's a lot, for sure.
This topic is huge, but thank you so much for sharing your perspective, talking to us about Formula Monks. This has really been interesting, and I really want to get some more insight off camera as well.
Happy to share anytime, Jessica.
Yes, thank you so much.
much.
For more information, visit the website right there on your screen.